Welcome to the Deuce Cast Extra. This is Mayfeld Mikey. To my right, Twi'lek Earl. How's it going, Twi'lek Earl?
Should I be making faces like that, like the Twi'lek?
Yeah, like the Twi'lek. And then
I need a knife to twirl.
The non-stormtrooper Imperial Sharpshooter Rifleman.
Yes, of course. It has to be a non-stormtrooper.
How's it going, Garrison?
I'm doing well.
Pretty good. Good. And so we're talking about, of course,
The Prisoner.
Chapter 6 of The Mandalorian, The Prisoner, which is a great title because this is essentially a prison break episode. It's you know,
I love it.
Standard prison break episode. Want to do a little data pad download on this. This one's a little bit different because, you know, one big change that we've got is the writers on this episode. You know, previously we had one episode written by Dave Filoni, then most of them by Jon Favreau. This one, the teleplay and story were by Christopher Yost, which you might not recognize the name, but he was the screenwriter, one of many, I'm sure, for Thor Ragnarok, Thor Dark World. So he has been in the Disney family for a while. And then Rick Famuyiwa also wrote and directed. So he helped on the teleplay and he directed this particular episode. And this was the second episode he directed this season. The first episode was the Jawa episode. That's what I remember it as. And man, this one has quite the cast of characters. I mean, essentially with this episode, you've got the Mandalorian going to, for lack of a better term, it looks like Deep Space Nine, just like an outpost in the sky that Ranzar, played by Mark Boone Jr., sort of looks like he heads up. And Mark Boone Jr.
He's a very that guy to me.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy. That's kind of like where I remember him from. He's been in a ton of stuff, but the only thing that I kind of remember him from is Sons of Anarchy. And then, man, the cast of characters. We've got Mayfeld, who is the sharpshooter that Garrison alluded to. Imperial sharpshooter.
Not a stormtrooper.
Played by Bill Burr. Bill Burr is fantastic in this episode. Yeah. Then we've got Zeon, played by Natalia Tena, who you might not recognize the name, but she is in the Harry Potter films.
Yep, she plays.
And Game of Thrones too, right? Wasn't she?
I don't know if she was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think she was like one of the earlier seasons. She was a wild who was like a servant for the wolf people. What were they called?
Okay.
She got the two kids out of the two youngest children of the Stark family.
Okay. I don't remember her from that.
Season 2 or 3. I don't remember which episode.
I just remembered her from Harry Potter. And then of course, I mean, Berg, the Devorian, played by the fantastic Clancy Brown. I mean, Clancy Brown, the Kurgan from the Highlander. And then of course he's done a lot of Star Wars stuff as well as far as voice acting is concerned. This is his first live action thing that he's done with Star Wars. But he was in Rebels. He played a character in Rebels, and then I even want to say he did something on the Clone Wars.
I thought I read he was in the Clone Wars. Yeah,
I think he did both series. And then Zero, which is the droid. You know, voiced by Richard
Ayoade.
Ayoade, who's IT Network or IT Crowd. Yeah, and then he's also a director too. He's directed a couple different movies. We'll go over the cameos later. The one other kind of main character, Quinn, who is Zeon's, brother, is played by Ismael Cruz Cordova. I'm not really familiar with that particular actor, but he's done a lot of stuff. If you look at his IMDb profile, he's done quite a bit of stuff. He's been around for a while. So, I think we're still in a situation where the Mandalorian is needing money still. So he's trying to do these odd jobs because obviously he is not part of the guild anymore. And of course that is mentioned yet again at the beginning of this episode where, I heard you were not in the guild anyway. Everybody's heard that he's not in the guild. I mean, if for real, I mean, news travels fast in this galaxy apparently, because everybody seems to know that this guy is no longer a part of the guild.
Yeah, it's really interesting that he knows that, but the rest of the team doesn't really seem to know that or know who Baby Yoda is.
No.
Obviously, later in the episode.
Yeah, and it's one funny thing about Star Wars, at least when it comes to bounty hunters and whatnot, is they seem to work in groups. So even in the Clone Wars, that little group that Boba Fett was a part of, you don't necessarily think like bounty hunters being a profession that you would work together in, but it seems like more often than not, they're having to work together in different ways, which is the case.
I mean, Dog the Bounty Hunter, he's got a little crew.
I know this is true. This is very true. It's a very real world example, Earl. Thank you for that.
Bringing it back.
Yeah. So this is one of those situations where, you know, the character Ranzar is sort of got this team of 4, but he needed a ship.
Yeah,
and he
needed a ship that's not on Imperial or New Republic waves.
Yes.
Whatever he said.
No, that's exactly what he said. It's under the radar in both Imperial and New Republic. It's sort of like in this sweet spot where nobody really knows it. So, you know, Mayfeld is sort of the leader of this group, de facto leader. I mean, you know, and he's sort of got a couple other characters with him. The Muscle, Zeon, sort of just the crazy knife wielding.
He's like an assassin and something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, you can tell that.
I
she's
like
kind
her character. I thought that was.
Oh
cool.
yeah. I love that character also. And then Zero is sort of the brains of the group, and he is a funny droid because he likes to mention that. He says he's smarter than all these Star Wars droids are getting way too much personality. I need less.
More like the one from Rogue One. He kind of had that sort of vibe.
Oh yeah, K2SO. He sort of has sort of his own personality, and even Ranzar mentions that his programming is sort of off or a little bit.
Hey, so, before we go too far on that,
yeah.
It's interesting that the Mandalorian sort of has this history of working with Ran. Is that his name or
Ranzar?
Yeah, Ranzar.
Yeah.
But he's short for like Ran or something.
It's curious. I'd love to explore that more. Like if they did like a flash. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting that he.
Well, yeah.
Like
I mean,
a learner, you know.
He apparently has had a long bounty hunting career. I mean, even with Zeon, she mentions a mission that they did at some point in the episode. Yeah, I know, Melissa. Everybody loves the droids. Thanks for joining us, Melissa. You know, this is true, though. She has a good point here. The droids are a nice foil for the intensity. That's true. That's very true.
Though this one brings up he raises the intensity in this episode at a certain point.
Yes, he does.
I love that when he did that maneuver to get the ship down, like he didn't care about them at all.
All around.
Droid.
He's like, hey, if you guys fling around, I don't care.
Droids don't, though. Yeah, droids don't give it. Yeah, they don't care.
Especially this one.
Especially Zero. Yeah, he is not interested in that at all. But you do bring up a good point, though, with Ranzar saying that there's that history there, and we know there's that history with Zeon. Yep. Even maybe some type of relationship was there as well.
I'm thinking based on their conversation, it was mainly her.
Right. Yeah,
not Mayfeld. He didn't really.
Well, no. I'm saying the relationship aspect. I'm thinking it was mainly her, not really him giving anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Because as she joked around, this is the way about not taking the helmet off. She even knows his little slogan that he. His little saying that he says, "This is the way." So, yeah, I mean, the Mandalorian's in a tough spot because when he finds out that all they really need him for. Well, at first he thinks all they need him for is the ship, and it ends up that they're kind of almost looking for a patsy in a way.
Yeah.
Or they're just looking to double cross him.
I was about to say, I think they're looking for revenge.
Oh, you do? You think there's some revenge aspect in there?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Yeah, with at least with Quinn and
Zeon. Yeah,
his sister.
Zeon.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they both know him, so there's some history there, and like you said, maybe things didn't end well between Quinn, Zeon, and the Mandalorian. Maybe things were rough in that aspect. So, Another thing the Mandalorian did immediately said that he did not want any involvement in was the New Republic. He doesn't need that type of heat, basically.
Yeah.
The New Republic is a burgeoning a monarchy, for lack of a better term. They're sort of running the galaxy now.
They're a republic, Michael. They're a republic.
I don't like.
They're a representative republic.
I don't like them. No, I'm just kidding. It's weird though, because it just seems like a lot of people have sort of a bad outlook on the New Republic in this show. Obviously they did with the Imperials, but it seems like there's not much love also for the New Republic.
You have a lot of, I think, morally gray characters in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, like the law, I think.
And they allude to perhaps the Mandalorian before the child came into his life. They allude to the fact that
I saw.
Perhaps the Mandalorian was a little bit of, morally bankrupt as well. And that's one thing I heard, and I hate to copy other shows or mention stuff from other shows, but I listen to so much Star Wars stuff. One interesting thing that I had not thought is that the child tends to bring out the best in people. Just being around someone of the child's nature is bringing out a better side of the Mandalorian.
That's an interesting thing to look at.
I think that's true.
Then because being in a bounty hunting profession, sure, there is some code, and especially with the Mandalorian, there's a code that he lives by in that side of his life, but also in the bounty hunting guild, there's somewhat of an unnamed code between bounty hunters. But we get the sense from Zeon that perhaps on this particular job that she mentions, that he maybe did something morally bankrupt, and he even says he did what he had to do, at the time. And Melissa makes a good point here, from her perspective, it almost comes off as a redemption story in a way. And he might even think about that in his own way, that he's protecting this child for redemptive reasons. I don't know. I mean, he's trying to make up for.
He wants to be a better person.
He wants to be a better person. Yeah, maybe he's trying to make up for some of the bad things that he's done or had to do being in this bounty hunting profession that he chose for whatever reason.
Well, we know he has a soft spot for orphans because he was one himself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Giving that money to the Mandalorian orphans in the sewer, some of the Beskar. So I think that sort of touched a nerve with him, that this child that's.
But even the situations he handles inside the ship, I mean, he's trying not to lose any lives.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Once they get to the New Republic prison ship, I mean, even there, he's not interested in doing anything but killing.
I didn't want to kill that guy who.
Well,
cameo.
Yeah. The great cameo by Matt Lanter, who I believe I heard a story that was supposed to be James Arnold Taylor, and that didn't work out.
Huh.
So they went with Matt Lanter, which is still awesome. I mean, I love any Clone Wars cameos like that. Is cool to me because obviously he voiced Anakin. So we went to Animal Kingdom Lodge one night during, I guess, one of the it was celebration or whatever. Yeah.
Start to get in the elevator's closing right in front of us, and as it's closing, we see his face in there, and it's Jack. We're like, hey!
Oh, James Arnold Taylor. Cool.
He was staying at the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
So before she was really known, we were at that same event that I think you guys were at, but we were at the last tour to Endor thing, right?
I think it might have been that. Well, no.
It was at Hollywood Studios, and we're just walking around, and our group sort of separates, but then Tommy, producer Tommy, if you listen to the Deucecast years ago, we had a producer Tommy. And if you've listened to Card Trader Illuminati before, he's a host on there.
Did I have dinner with him that one time?
I think maybe you guys
at that place.
Yeah, I think so. He bumped into Kelly Marie Tran. And
wow!
I think he even got like a picture with her, or maybe he said he didn't have his camera or didn't think about getting a picture with her. But she was wearing that funny T-shirt that she had with like her and John Boyega wearing a shirt. It was some weird shirt that she had at the time. That was meta or whatever. But yeah, he bumped into her before she was really, this was before The Force Awakens, obviously, before she was really known in any way. So yeah, that was a fun trip. But back to the episode, obviously. Sorry. Tangents.
Hi, Earl.
Or what we do.
Yeah,
Earl's got this really puzzled look on his face.
Well, I'm just thinking how you would know Kelly Marie Tran before. I mean,
I know. I was wondering that as well.
Are you talking about Last Jedi, maybe?
Oh yeah. This was Last Jedi. I'm sorry.
Okay, you said Force Awakens, which I was like, wait a minute.
No. I meant Last Jedi.
I think we had dinner with you, Dave, or Tommy, or whatever, or something like that in Disney Springs, and that was that was before Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was Last Jedi. So that was not Last Tour to Endor either. But
no.
Why were we at Hollywood Studios?
They had some event there.
They had some other thing there. That's right. They had some other thing where we got the lanyard and you had to go around and make the puzzle on your lanyard.
Yes.
That's it.
That coincided with Celebration. Yeah.
And it coincided with Celebration. And she had been there at the event anyways. And I think they did some celebrity parade on cars or something, but this was in the evening and she was just walking around and he happened to see her, which I thought was pretty awesome.
We saw Warwick Davis just walking around with his group. That was kind of
he in his Segway?
No, he was walking.
He was walking. Yeah, that's how he got around a lot at Celebration, was in his Segway. He was zooming around on that thing. So, oh gosh, back to this episode. So why are we here again? No. The prisoner. Yes, exactly.
Was the Mandalorian hired to, because it's like they let him do all the work in that one,
the droid scene?
Yeah.
Well,
which was awesome, by the way.
I feel like they were almost testing him.
They were. I mean, because remember Mayfeld Mayfeld on the ship.
Yeah.
He even references, the Mandalorian. You're supposed to be some great warrior, right? I mean, so the expectation is there from just historic reference, I guess, to Mayfeld thinking that the Mandalorians are supposed to be some great warrior race, and even what was it? Clancy Brown's character, Berg, was sort of like, oh, Mandalorian, I haven't seen it. They're all dead. Or he makes some joke about they're few and far between.
So great, why are they all dead?
If they're so great, why are they all dead? So that's another little tidbit of information.
What's under the helmet? And he starts grabbing.
Yeah, but that's a good little tidbit. It's one of those things like you can dissect a little bit. I mean, during this time, the Mandalorians are supposedly all dead because the Great Purge, the Imperials, and that's the event that we have not seen. But the Great Purge happens, and the Imperials apparently wipe out the majority of the Mandalorians at some point.
As they're entering the prison, by the way, they have this little four-armed monkey that appears in the bars. I believe that's the same monkey from Solo.
Yeah, it's the same species.
Yeah. No. It's not the same monkey, same species.
It's not Rio Duran.
And looks through the
Favreau voices that character in Solo, not
in
the same
Solo.
Character,
Yeah, exactly. I saw that too, and I think that there was one other species they showed that I didn't recognize it, like one other alien species.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it either.
And then you did see briefly an Imperial was in the jail as well. You saw he was still in his uniform and everything. So that was a recent. It's just such a strange time in the universe because you've got all these Imperials that are still trying to grasp some power in some places apparently, and so the New Republic is doing a lot of policing, which maybe they didn't really want to have to be involved in because look, they won the battle. Or in Battle of Endor, they felt like this thing's done, but there's still all these remnants, Imperial remnants all over the place that they're still having to deal with, which is an interesting thought, and I think we're going to continue.
They got a jail full of them, apparently.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to see a lot of that. I mean, I think that's going to be kind of some of the stuff that we see in this show is just all these ex-Imperials that are still, obviously, Moff Gideon still trying to maintain some Imperial power of some type in the galaxy.
Yeah. And obviously, somehow the First Order comes up, I don't know, years from then.
Years down the road, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, one thing that Rhett always laments is where do they get all their money? where the Imperials get all their money to continue like trying to rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
Rhett always likes to try and bring real world things
The,
into Star Wars.
The Emperor behind the scenes was funneling cash.
Well, look, I mean,
using a mind trick to funnel cash, and
the Emperor is still around. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole thing that is kind of frustrating about this whole thing is that on Exegol, the Emperor is still around.
Yeah.
Or this
this carcass of an Emperor.
Strand cast is the new term I'm learning in Star
I thought
Wars now.
Is that
was
the thing?
I thought that was what's his name?
Snoke.
Snoke was a strand cast, right?
Yes,
What?
that's a new thing. It's in the
You have to read about it.
You gotta look it up, Garrison. In these
Gotta get a visual dictionary.
in these DK books, they're trying to retcon everything, and they've come up with this new term. It's not a clone; it's a strand cast
Why not just call it a clone?
because it's different. It's not really a clone; it's a strand cast. It's some weird Star Wars thing that is interesting to me, but I don't know.
So they get on the ship. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
The father of Rey was a strand cast.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Right. Oh yeah, clones, right?
Yeah, the strand cast.
I don't know what that means, but I gotta do some researching into genetics.
You don't have to do that. Yeah.
They had to fix the lack of storytelling in the Rise of Skywalker
He's not a perfect clone. He just has elements.
elements. It's a
You don't need
strand
to-
cast.
Strands of DNA.
You don't need an answer for everything.
Oh, you got to. You have to have an answer
You
for
gotta
everything.
retcon a bad script or whatever.
You gotta retcon everything. Oh my gosh. Anyways, let's get back to some good storytelling, which is the Mandalorian.
But they
Because
double cross him, don't they? At some point, I'm trying to remember how this all goes down.
oh well, sure. I mean,
Well, the first thing they have is the interaction with the human on the ship, which Mando doesn't realize that there's a.
They don't know
He,
there's a human
he was
there.
told there was no humans, and
Yeah.
whether they lied to him or just didn't know, I don't know. But
right, exactly. I mean, they may not have known, but it makes sense. I mean, you can't. Well, I can't say that. I mean,
you'd
they
have a droid operate the ship.
They
but-
could have had a droid operate the ship, but this guy, this newbie, I mean, apparently he even alludes to the fact, or they say he's a newbie or something at some point, but he doesn't make it. Xeon has had enough.
Mando tries.
Mando tries to save the guy, and I don't even know that Mayfeld had intention to kill him.
Yeah.
It was hard to like. I don't think
But
Mayfeld.
But when Mando did say something to the effect of, you can walk away with your life, Mayfeld immediately goes, no.
Yeah,
exactly. No, we're
They all
not.
pull guns on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a
Yeah.
good standoff with.
It
Yeah.
was a great standoff scene, and Xeon's had enough and just throws a knife and takes him out. Which
Xeon.
she
love
has no qualms about killing anybody ever.
I'm done with this.
Yeah,
And
so
then, but he does push the button, and
he does.
signals the the Republic,
The New Republic. Yeah,
Yeah.
the New Republic. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
that is it. Is the New Republic? Yeah, very specifically the New Republic. Yeah. So he signals them, and apparently the idea there would be they only had. I mean, really, the whole mission was only supposed to take like 20 minutes. They had 20 minutes to get on this ship and off this ship, especially once the New Republic was notified, because everything went red or something to indicate.
No,
No?
that was when Mando got control of the ship.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down way too many notes.
No, that's good
I
because I
don't
didn't write down any. So
I
that's
don't
good.
remember how they knocked out Mando to put him in the. How did
Well,
they get
they
him
pretty
in-
much just shoved him in. Quinn just shoved him in kind of surprisingly, and then they
Yeah.
shut the door.
That's what it was. That's
And
right.
from that point, Mando, takes out that droid and gets his arm and uses it to unlock the door.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I love how he just brutalizes droids. He doesn't.
Yeah, he
does
does not care.
He does not like droids. He does not care.
Yeah, I mean, he has not met a droid that he does like. Unfortunately, he is.
And
I
then it's Mando time.
yeah.
He
Mando.
turns the light
Well,
on.
yeah, he
Yeah,
turns
it's
the red light on and he takes them all out basically.
Yeah, it's a cut between that and the droid finding out about Grief Karga's message
Mhm.
and going and trying to find Baby Yoda.
Yes, because he's
Yeah.
one of the group, and he's like putting the pieces together.
The one thing I really like about when after Mando breaks out and he shuts the ship down, they do a great job of making you think maybe he actually killed these guys,
Oh yeah.
which almost would go against what he's been trying to do this whole time.
Right.
Then you obviously have the reveal at the end of the episode, but you don't know that yet. I mean, you think he's just taking these guys out.
Well,
that,
I mean, there is the
that was almost like, did he just kill them all? I was like,
Yeah.
what? I'd forgotten that he put him in a prison cell.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, did he kill those guys?
I'm like, that's awesome if he didn't, but
yeah. Well, there is the one scene with Berg that you think that he did kill Berg because
When he
they're
crushes him with the door. Yeah.
when he crushes him with the door. I mean, you know, at that point, it's like it's either me or him. So he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, there wasn't a way in his mind probably to there was no sanctity in life there. I mean, there was like, look, I've got to either kill Berg or he's going to kill me. I mean, there was no way out of that.
And kudos to Famiyiwa, the way he shot that was just.
Oh yeah,
I love the light scene too, where the when Burr is getting taken out.
Yes,
and the lights flash and he's there, and then he flash and he's not there, and they flash and he's closer.
Yeah,
horror movie-esque.
There was some great cinematography in it. I mean, it's a very cool episode. Again, I don't know why some people call it a filler episode. I love anything and everything with this series has been good to me.
I was like, why? It was great. It was
the only thing is, I mean, it doesn't further the plot of taking Baby Yoda somewhere, but you kind of see him struggling to get money, and I think it's an important episode. I don't know, and I mean, come on, the Bill Burr cameos and whatever his name is, Rand. His cameo. I mean, it's great to see those people in there, and Matt Lanter, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some people that apparently aren't thrilled, like with the Bill Burr character, because they're like, there wouldn't be a character like that in Star Wars with they just think it's too real world with the Boston accent and the funny quips. Like all the things that I've heard people point out is they don't like the Gungan quip. They don't like they don't like the knock on the stormtrooper thing because that's too meta. It's like too in universe. Like even in the Star Wars universe, they're aware that Gungans are funny, or even in the Star Wars universe, they're aware that stormtroopers are bad shots.
Are they though? Because I mean, it doesn't Obi-Wan say that they're supposed to be pretty good shooters in the first Star Wars movie?
Yeah, no. I mean, Obi-Wan specifically says that, which makes the joke out of universe even funnier.
Yeah,
because they're never good shots. And so that's I mean, because the thought process is they have gone through lots of training, they should have good shots, but then they even in this series try and retcon it a little bit in the last episode, where they allude to the fact that maybe all along it's just the bad equipment that the stormtroopers have gotten, because you see one of those stormtroopers that's punching Baby Yoda a little bit in that final episode, like hitting his gun against his hand, trying to like make it work. I mean, so maybe all along, maybe they don't really have as much money to spend on all this equipment as it's just all faulty. It's all like there's like it's not great equipment. So it's funny, like they're being very meta in this series in a couple things, and
you would assume that some of these conscripted soldiers are just people that are just I got to do this job or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're contractors. They're like, I got to make money somehow, so I might as well.
They get those guns, and they're like,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, and that's the idea, especially with the clients. Stormtroopers were dirty, like their armor was not.
I like that.
Pristine, you can tell that in some parts of the universe, the stormtroopers are not very well kempt. Now, Moff Gideon's stormtroopers are legit.
Yeah.
But he's still trying to keep like an actual. He's still trying to keep an actual Imperial remnant going. So he's making sure that everything's copacetic with their training and the equipment they have and everything. So it's interesting. But yeah, I mean the cool thing with this particular episode is that we get a lot of history with or just bits and pieces enough to make you interested in knowing more about it, right? And that's always the dangle the carrot. We had this history with the Mandalorian and these particular characters.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to see it because they're not dead. None of these guys. Well, except
I hope they come back. I'd love to see like an episode where they.
I would too.
I liked the. I mean, they're all in the cell, so they could come back.
Yeah,
I like the sight gag at the end of the episode where Baby Yoda starts to use the Force on the on the droid, and then all of a sudden his chest just explodes, and you're like, "What?"
Yes, and he looks at his hand.
Yeah, he goes.
Did you notice him look? Like he's like, "Whoa! Yeah. I didn't even know I could do that."
I don't even remember that. That was awesome, though. He's like, "Oh." Were any of y'all disturbed like how the New Republic people came in? And I know it's all the directors and cameo, which is cool.
Filoni.
But were y'all disturbed that they just flew in and didn't give any, like, there was no warning. They just came to this outpost and blew it to smithereens.
Well, no.
Whoa.
But there's a reason for that, though. Like, when those fobs are activated, that means there's an emergency.
Yeah, I guess
their whole idea is to just go take it out.
That place.
Michael, there's no warning. There's like, you must,
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is, I mean, it seemed like they pretty much said that if they didn't get out of that prison, that the prison was just going to get blown up.
Well,
right.
It's fascinating.
It's like a self-destruct thing.
It was like they went and found this outpost and.
Well, no, but they said they're firing up a gunship. They said that. I mean, remember
there was a gunship that was about to take off with what?
Yeah.
And Dave Filoni's character, and they all have IMDb character names, which is funny. But Trapper Wolf is the Dave Filoni character. Rick Famuyiwa's character is Jib Dodger, and Jib Dodger, and Deborah Chow's character is Sash Keeter. Those are the actual character names, which I think
those will be in a visual dictionary.
They will soon end up in the Star Wars character DK book.
They are most likely in a DK book somewhere. The Mandalorian Guide.
Have they put one of those out?
There's the only thing that's come out from the Mandalorian, I think. There's an art guy, a visual, not just like one of the art of books.
They got enough of art stills at the end of the episodes that I would think they would have enough for a book. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is when the episode ends and it shows the art, the concept art.
Yeah, so there is a concept art book that I want to say that the guys that actually published the Star Wars Insider did. They did like a hardcover art book, because it's not DK, because usually DK does those, and so there might be a DK one coming out in the future, but the one that just came out recently was actually done by the people that do Star Wars Insider, which is interesting. It's usually always DK does all that stuff, but that's not the case in this particular book that came out. But yeah, I love all the concept art. I think what Doug Chang did a lot of it. I'm sure he seems to always be involved in really anything.
Paintings and it's like, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really cool looking stuff. Trying to think of anything else pertinent in this particular episode.
He fulfilled the mission. I like how Rand was like, he was giving him the money, but he was kind of looking off to see like where the other team members.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big thing that the Mando sort of shot back at him, because earlier in the episode, no questions asked ever. That's kind of like what Rand's little slogan that he lives by, and so the Mandalorian threw that back in his face.
Yeah, and I feel like he respected that a little bit, but he also knew he was going to try to kill Mando anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean. So, I don't know if we'll get these characters back in season 2, but I mean, maybe they'll come back around, because we know that, Zeon's still alive, Berg and Mayfeld, they're all still alive because they're in that Republican prison ship. But the problem with that is it's just sort of a derelict ship now. I mean, there's nobody running it. There's no droids left.
I'm sure they'll find out about it, though. I'm sure the New Republic probably is going to be
sure.
like, "Hey, this ship isn't doing what it's supposed to do."
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get to it
They'll
eventually.
jump
But
I think there's so many directions they're going in season 2 with a lot of the return characters. I just can't imagine they'd hire all 4 of those back. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking money wise.
well, I mean, I think
maybe 1 or 2 of them.
I think season 2 is going to be very different than season 1 because I think season 2 in some ways, and this could be good or bad depending on who you ask, but I think they're using it to springboard a lot of other series or expand the universe in a way that more series come out of The Mandalorian. So I think we are going to get that Ahsoka series that comes out of The Mandalorian. So they're going to kind of try and utilize season 2 of The Mandalorian for that.
Then WandaVision will come out of it.
Then WandaVision,
wrong, yeah.
Well, and that's one.
It's all got to connect, Earl. All the Disney properties.
Right. All the Disney.
Bring it all
properties.
together.
Well, and one like piece of news that we got this week that sort of was more of a confirmation was that when the episodes come out, they're weekly, which we kind of knew. They're not doubling up anything, so it's going all the way until December 18th. Which means that, like, I'm guessing that WandaVision is December 25th. Episode 1 of that's what my guess is that we're going to get episode 1 of WandaVision on December 25th.
Again, that date I said last time, probably a placeholder.
Yeah, I know, but I can't imagine them. That would be,
What was the date, Garrison? I don't remember.
well,
That was
November
like
27th, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It can't. They can't have like 2
Why
huge
not?
properties.
Why not? It's 2
Because
different universes.
No, the fandom crosses over though.
Well,
I feel like
you can watch 2 shows. They're not.
Yeah, but
why not make one come out like on Wednesdays and then the other one come out on well, no, that's already set for Friday, so never
they're
mind.
dead. Yeah, they're dead set on this Friday thing for some reason. Like that's when any new show is always like what the only other show that I'm watching that's running right now is that Animal Kingdom show. So it releases its new episode every Friday. It's like always every Friday.
What?
They're doing like Animal Kingdom documentary show or whatever. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I like Disney Plus. It's everything. It's all fandoms cross over there.
Hey, and there's The Right Stuff now. I don't see you watching that.
That's right. No, I do want to watch it though, but
Yeah, it's really good.
that's also every Friday as well. I mean, so that's a Nat Geo show, a Nat Geo original.
Yeah.
The right stuff.
Yeah.
Not the 83 movie. Oh,
No, not the 1980. They're doing an actual series. Yeah, the 83 movie is pretty good actually.
It's very
like
long.
it as well. So any other takeaways from this episode? Earl, did you have anything else?
I mean, I just thought it was greatly directed. I thought it was a really engrossing, very taut. You know, maybe I just love a good like sneak around and try to do a prison break or whatever. I just thought it was well done.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, and it was actually a little bit longer of an episode. It clocked in at 43 minutes, which is kind of longer. I mean, than most of the episodes. It seems like so. Yeah, I loved it as well. What about you, Garrison? Any takeaways that we?
I just thought it was a really fun episode. I got tons of notes, but I can't go through all this right now.
Anything like super pertinent though that you wrote down?
Your highlights, your top 5.
How did Berg survive that door?
Well, now did you see? Okay, let's talk about that. I don't remember. Okay, it looked like his horns were cut off, like sliced a little bit. So
the door's still like closed, and the other door was also closed. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe he's very stretchable.
Well, we saw he was holding his head. His horns were cut off.
Yeah, he was definitely in pain.
Yeah, I mean he was not in a good way, but he was still alive. He was still alive. So
yeah, probably in the real world that's not going to happen.
No.
Well, I mean we know that
but
we
I
know
guess
he's really strong. I mean,
I guess your first hint is probably that there wasn't a blood splatter that happened there. So
no, No, you want that character to come back in a revenge episode in the 3rd season or something. Like that's what I'm guessing is those 3 are going to come back in some type of revenge episode.
Yes.
I mean, Xion's not only going to want revenge for being put in prison, but she's going to be ticked when she finds out her brother's dead. And so yeah, I mean, there's going to be, they can't just let that be. There's going to have to be some consequences. Maybe not in season 2, but something season 3.
They got to bring it back.
They've got to bring that whole crew back because that was a fan favorite. I mean, at least in my opinion, there were some people that did not like that crew, but I thought the whole crew was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah. So I think that's going to wrap us up, though, for Chapter 6, The Prisoner. We've only got 2 more episodes left, obviously, before the new season begins, and then we'll be doing it real time. We'll be watching We're going to be watching the episodes on Fridays and recording these on Saturdays. So that's what. Be prepared.
Officially real time. We're not watching the show and
immediately recording.
3 a.m.
No, yeah. We're getting up at 2 a.m. on Friday mornings, and we're going to watch The Mandalorian and then record something.
We'll sync it up. We'll put it in the stream.
No.
Might get copyright struck for that.
Exactly. So, just to wrap everything up, please, if you have a chance and you happen to see this, please subscribe, like, comment, share. Check out the podcast on thedeucecast.com, also on retrozap.com. The Deucecast Movie Show, which is a weekly show that Garrison has been on quite a bit, but Dr. Earl, myself, and Dave do a weekly movie show. We are releasing our Reflections episode this coming Wednesday, so please, that's where we just dump everything that we have seen in the last month, and it's always fun to then start watching more movies for the next month. So it's my week. We have my monthly purge of everything that I've watched, so I can start watching more stuff. It's just the way that works.
You got the reflections this week, but you've also got to do a sort of reflections in a couple of weeks as well.
Oh yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, I've already started watching some of those for Mike-tober. I won't tell. Well, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you know which ones I've watched.
Oh, okay.
And you maybe will get a hint of where things are going to end up. So that's a little bit of
spoilers on that. We got to keep.
That's why you got to get a Letterboxd account and follow me on Letterboxd so you can sort of see what I'm thinking so far. I've only watched 2, but yeah, it's a good plug for Letterboxd, exactly. Which is a great. It just helps you keep track of what you watch.
I just one day I want to track when I'm watching something, what I'm watching it on, and a movie that I'm watching. Like a diary essentially, but I didn't want to write it down. I wanted it to be digital.
That's right, Melissa. Mike-tober.
Now I am writing it down and writing reviews. I don't put reviews on Letterboxd, but I write a review for every movie I watch. So I remember how I felt about it, and what I gave to the movie. The score, that kind of thing.
But you're not you're not writing your review on Letterboxd?
Sometimes I will.
Yeah. But
sometimes I don't.
I literally. Well, I'm not like super talented in that area, so I've literally only maybe review. I did Jasper Mall because I liked that, and I wanted to throw some love to Jasper Mall, so I actually did write a review for that. And there's a couple other funny ones that I've done, like 1-word reviews, or something like that.
Popular on Letterboxd too.
I know, like people trying to do something unique or whatever, and just have like a silly 1-word review. I've done that a couple times also, but I wrote a legit review for Jasper Mall because Jeremy was associate producer of that, so I felt like I needed to throw some love to Jasper Mall. But I think that'll do it this week. You guys have anything else? Nothing? Okay, good. Well, we'll be back next Saturday for Chapter 7, which I don't have it pulled up, whatever it's called. What is Chapter 7 called?
Oh, gosh, I don't remember that one very well.
I know.
The Reckoning.
The Reckoning.
Yes, I do. Both of these episodes that are coming up are really good. So The Reckoning and Redemption.
Yeah, I do remember The Reckoning. Okay.
Yeah, they're both really good. So I think that'll do it. This has been Mayfield Mikey, Twi'lek Earl, and Imperial Sharpshooter Ryfin. This was The Way.